It's very important to look at my roots and where I come from and not abandon or forget the elders in my community because they shaped who we are. They're vulnerable right now, but at one time they were fighting and sacrificing for their children, and it is so important to bring that back to them when they need it.
My name is Young Lee, and I am the Vice President for the Board of Directors for Hanul Family Alliance. The board, staff, and volunteers of Hanul, thank you for joining us today. The previous 13 to 16 months have been quite challenging for all of us as people, a part of a community, and an organization providing critical services. We will show you throughout tonight how Hanul adapted and pivoted from a wholly in-person provider to a provider of critical and essential services in a safe, distanced, and remote manner. And while there seems to be a light at the end of the pandemic tunnel, the country and this state is not quite out of the woods yet. So, for the health and safety of our staff, volunteers, and especially you, our patrons and supporters, tonight, Hanul presents its first virtual gala for your viewing pleasure. But in all honesty, we can't wait until we are reunited with all of you in person soon.
So what I'm seeing live, and this hasn't happened, is I'm not seeing him in the front of me. So we're gonna disconnect that.
Did you hear the audio?
I could hear the audio. And now we're back. All right. Take it from the top.
Take it from the top. Okay. The bow and everything. You're gonna point to me when I go? 안녕하세요. Hello, and welcome to Hanul Family Alliance's virtual fundraising gala, Did You Eat Beyond the Plate? My name is Young Lee, and I am the Vice President for the Board of Directors for Hanul Family Alliance. The Board of Directors, staff, and volunteers of Hanul, thank you for joining us today. The previous 13 to 16 months have been quite challenging for all of us as people, a part of a community, and an organization providing critical services. We will show you throughout tonight how Hanul adapted and pivoted from a wholly in-person provider to a provider of critical and essential services in a safe, distanced, and remote manner. And while there seems to be a light at the end of the pandemic tunnel, the country and this state is not quite out of the woods yet. So, for the health and safety of our staff, volunteers, and especially you, our patrons and supporters, tonight, Hanul presents its first virtual gala for your viewing pleasure. But in all honesty, we can't wait until we are reunited with all of you in person soon. Before we begin, we want to especially thank all of our sponsors for your generous donations and support. We also want to thank Bank of Hope for the charitable donation grant. We appreciate your partnership and support for community-based social services. We would also like to thank all of the other supporters and sponsors without whom it would be impossible for Hanul to continue providing social services. And another special thank you to those who ordered our Chef Beverly Kim's curated meal kits. We hope that you are eating with us tonight. Tonight's raffle items have something for everyone, from kitchen appliances for the aspiring chef, donated by Magic Chef, to jewelry retailing for $1,500 from CD Peacock in Woodfield Mall for that special someone. Wow. Last but not least, drum roll please. We will be raffling 9, that's right, 9 gift cards to Parachute and Wherewithal, the award-winning restaurants of our keynote guest, Chef Beverly Kim. If you haven't had a chance to enjoy the deliciousness of Parachute or Wherewithal, now is your chance. We will be raffling off these prizes throughout the evening. All of you that have donated are automatically entered into the raffle. If you have not donated yet, donate now and throughout the evening. Text, "Did you eat?" to 44321 or go to the link shown here and in the chat. Plus, you will be helping us continue to serve the most vulnerable in our community. We said we would be raffling off items all night, so here is the first raffle prize, a Magic Chef toaster to make the perfect cheese sandwich or toasted bagel. So the winner of our first raffle is Pak Nam Young. Congratulations! If you missed this raffle because you haven't donated yet, you can still donate by texting "Did you eat?" to 44321. More fun prizes to come. We have so much in store for you tonight. Let's get started with a short video, Hanul Never Stops, showcasing some of the amazing services and work Hanul was able to provide during the pandemic. Once again, thank you for joining us and enjoy the evening.
Good evening. 안녕하세요. My name is Ann Cho, Board President for Hanul Family Alliance, and we are honored that you have invited us into your home this evening. As you just saw in our short video, Hanul never stopped providing essential services to our most vulnerable population throughout the COVID pandemic. Since the inception of Hanul in 1987, it has been our mission to support and provide resources to the Korean American seniors and families. In Korean, Hanul means one large family. For the past 34 years, Hanul has been a symbol of one large family to many individuals in our surrounding community through its programs and resources. Since the COVID outbreak, Hanul has served over 7,000 individuals, 364 homebound seniors, provided over 3,600 box food, and 930 meals per week, which is over 48,360 meals in a year. This past year, we all have personally experienced the devastating impact of COVID-19. This pandemic was unpredictable. It didn't discriminate against race, gender, or social status. Individuals lost their jobs, their homes, and loved ones. We saw an increase with mental health issues and a rise in racial tension and conflict. Many individuals, and especially the elder population, face greater struggles. Due to language barriers, lack of transportation, and fear of COVID and personal safety, our seniors were left more vulnerable. They were isolated from family and friends with limited access to essential resources such as groceries and a hot meal. And yet, Hanul family came together ready to serve. We have a lot to celebrate tonight. In one of the most difficult years of our lifetime, we did what we do best. We cared for our community. Caring in Korean culture, importantly, it is through the boxed food and meals that we were able to check on their well-being, interact, and say, we cared and are here for you. Despite facing many challenges, through the efforts, sacrifice, compassion, and generosity of our staff, volunteers, donors, and partners like Senator Ram Vilivalam and Chef Beverly Kim, Hanul has been able to face our difficulties together as one large family. Without the unified efforts of the members in our community, Hanul could not have been able to reach our homebound, isolated seniors and to provide essential services to low-income families. This evening, we want to acknowledge and give thanks to all the staff, volunteers, donors, and partners who work tirelessly to come alongside the most vulnerable and isolated individuals. On behalf of Hanul, I want to extend a heartfelt thanks of gratitude for partnering with us to serve our Korean American community. The gala theme, Did You Eat Beyond the Plate, reflects this message. Hanul never stopped caring. Thank you again for spending your evening with us, and we hope you will enjoy the program. And now, we're gonna move into our next raffle drawing, and for this amazing electric kettle from Magic Chef. And the winner is Hannah Porter. And now, Grace Song, our former board president, will introduce and present the Spirit of Community Award to our recipient, Senator Ram Vilivalam.
Hello, I'm Grace Song. Hanul Family Alliance is proud to present this year's Spirit of Community Award to State Senator Ram Vilivalam of the 8th District of Illinois. Senator Vilivalam was raised on the northwest side of Chicago in a first-generation Indian American family. He is the first Asian American elected to the Illinois State Senate and the first Indian American elected to the Illinois General Assembly. Senator Vilivalam is chair of the Senate Transportation Committee and a co-chair of the Illinois Legislative Asian American Caucus. Along with all that, he is also a devoted husband, father, and son. As a supporter of Hanul's mission, Senator Vilivalam fights for policies that help provide essential services for older adults, immigrant families, and people with disabilities. His advocacy throughout the pandemic and the subsequent rise in anti-Asian violence has been invaluable. Senator Vilivalam helped provide vaccines to older Korean American adults through various community partners. He is also working with Hanul and other members of the PAVE Coalition to advocate for the TEACH Act, which would require schools across Illinois to teach Asian American history. He continues to work towards more visibility for the AAPI population, encouraging collective power through a Pan-Asian presence in Chicago. Tonight, we present the 2021 Spirit of Community Award to State Senator Ram Vilivalam. On behalf of everyone at Hanul Family Alliance, deep gratitude and thank you.
Hi everyone, this is State Senator Ram Villivolum of the 8th State Senate District in our state of Illinois. It is my privilege to be with you this evening to celebrate Hanul Family Alliance's many accomplishments over the last year and several years for that matter. It is also my honor to receive the Spirit of Community Award from Hanul Family Alliance. I am so proud to be the first Asian American elected to the Illinois State Senate and the first Indian American elected to the Illinois General Assembly. That would not be possible without people like yourself, organizations like Hanul Family Alliance, and my parents. My parents came to this country in the 1970s from India. They were a civil engineer and a teacher in India. However, they couldn't get those jobs when they first got here. They eventually went back to school, were able to get the education they needed and degrees, and work to get to the middle class and provide those opportunities for my brother, my sister, and myself. That said, they had a village of people helping them along the way. And that's what I think about when I think about Hanul Family Alliance. The work that you all do to provide services and programs to our children, to our seniors, to all of our families is so integral to making sure that all of our families in our communities succeed. I have never forgotten my parents' struggle or the village of people that supported them. That's what motivates my public service and commitment to all the communities in my district, including the Asian American community. And that's why I believe in an organization like Hanul Family Alliance. I've seen it happen firsthand. I've seen how an organization like Hanul Family Alliance can help people on an everyday basis. I just want to thank Irene and her entire team for the work that you do. This year has been more difficult than ever for our community, and now more than ever, we must stand together and continue to advocate for the resources and rights our community deserves. I stand ready. I am honored to work with you, and I will continue to work with the Hanul Family Alliance to make sure our communities get what they deserve. And I hereby accept the Spirit of Community Award from Hanul Family Alliance. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Senator Ram, for your tireless dedication and passionate service to your constituents, and particularly to those who are most vulnerable and in need. Hanul is proud and honored to call you our senator, and more importantly, a friend. My name is Sunhee Sohn. I'm a board member and a co-chair of the fundraising committee this year. Now, spoiler alert, we are going to raffle off a Magic Chef air fryer. And from college students to busy professionals to parents juggling work, remote schooling, and kids at home 24/7, this is the perfect kitchen appliance. I personally reheated many a slice of pizza, cooked salmon to perfection, as well as mouth-watering pork belly or galbijjim in half the time. Now, this is a chance to own your very own air fryer. And when your parents ask, did you eat or 밥 먹었어? You can say yes. For those who haven't donated and entered the raffle yet, donate through the link in the chat in the next minute or two before I call names. And while we give latecomers a chance to donate and enter the raffle, I want to send a sincere thank you to our live donors. Grant Andrew, Catherine Ward, Kate Donaldson, Ryan Whitaker, Kimberly Ma, Rachel Lindy, Sung Rager, and last but not least, Dennis McLuhan. You still have time to donate, and we hope you do to help this great cause. We appreciate your generosity and support so Hanul can continue to give back and serve the community and perhaps win an air fryer or one of the other raffle prizes we have. All right, now it's time to find out the owner of the air fryer, which goes to Esther Yang. Now, Esther, your support and the support of others around you make a huge impact on our older adults. A small recurring donation can mean so much to community American seniors in our community. For just $10 a month, you can help support a week's worth of home-delivered meals to a senior who otherwise might not have been able to access nutritious meals. Food security is incredibly important, especially during COVID. If you'd like to support Hanul and our mission for bettering the quality of life for all those who are vulnerable, please text "Did you eat" to 44321 or go to the link provided on the chat. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the next video that gets to the heart of what Hanul does and why we do what we do for our clients. And it's an introduction to a very special guest.
Food, it's essentially a medium for showing love. 너무 감사해요. 이 시간 보내서 미세스 코를 만나서 너무 반갑습니다. 지금 반갑다고 만나서 반갑다고.
반갑다.
네.
반갑다.
반갑습니다.
고맙습니다.
네. Their intentions to live a better life, have a better quality life, and always try to persevere and be resilient, even though there's been a lot of struggles, and then living through war.
I think everybody poor, not just me. After war, my grade school, even rich kid at the time, considered very poor by today's standards.
우리 집은 아주 잘 살았어. 그 동네에서 부자였어. 그래갖고 파이팅이 있고 막 그랬잖아. 그랬을 때 다 우리 집으로 왔어. from 서울. 우리 집이 크니까 글로 다 와서 아무튼 잠을 잘 수가 없을 정도로 사람들이 많이 왔어. 말도 못했어. 아무튼 우리 집 거 다 먹고 그러고 갔어. 사람들이.
I'm just so grateful for their story and their strength, because I wouldn't be who I am without their struggles and their dreams.
Our childhood was happy, even though we don't have a lot of things. I think some reason we have some kind of hope that we could be better. We're having good education. I have a dream that living well will be coming.
Immigrating here, struggling, I think, to connect with us as children and all the struggles we've had with our miscommunication and expectations, lost dreams. We didn't turn out exactly what they expected.
네가 셰프 되는 거는 나는 싫었어.
의사, 닥터가 될 줄 알고 엄마는 그거를 expect했어.
Harmony was very stubborn. She was fiercely proud of her independence. I think every generation, they kind of pushed the envelope just a little bit more. So like my grandmother, she was the first one in her generation to go to high school. And then my mom's generation, she was the first one to go to college. Her will and her stubbornness is definitely part of my story. This pandemic has shook everybody's world, and this pandemic has been very, very difficult for restaurants. And so instead of like trying to be in despair and being negative, and I realized I can tap into a lot of this generosity feeling. I happened to tap into a Korean American business foundation, and the one podcast was interviewing a Korean doctor who's at the front line of COVID. Towards the end of it, he's like, you know what? Let's start thinking about our elders. I think they're getting forgotten about. Many of them don't have their families around them because of COVID. He's like, I encourage you to check in on your elders. And that made me think about Hanul. 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다. My grandmother lived like a couple blocks away, and she would walk there. That was her community. That's where all the 할머니es went and 할아버지's. She learned English there.
할머니 lived here almost 40 years. So she's the typical Korean mother. They are sacrificed, they give everything to the kid. 그 민족성이 있어. 자녀들을 잘 키우려고 하는. 나는 못 먹어도
Taking care of the seniors helps me feel connected to my grandmother. The fact that she's the only one in my family who passed away due to COVID made me also think about how I can help. The meals that we make for Hanul, they're mostly Korean traditional dishes to meet their comfort level for the senior citizens. It's our way of saying we care about you, we see you, we're here for you. That's the worst feeling, is feeling alone. 안녕하세요.
할머니들이 너무 오래 살아.
아니, 할머니, 저 할머니들이 너무 헌신을 해주셔서 자녀들을 키워주시고 하셔서 희생으로 인해서 우리들이 다 있게 됐고, 그래서 지금 이 어려운 시기에 같이 해드리고 싶은 마음이 너무 많이 있다고 지금 말씀하시는 거예요. 예.
고맙고 감사해. 너무 오래 살아.
A lot of, I guess, Han, which is basically struggles and feeling frustrated or sad or bitter about the past, but trying to look towards the future and try to just continue the spirit of fighting. Ultimately, like, we struggled a lot as Korean people, like in generations with the Han, between being conquered and being split apart. There was, back in those days, no such thing as like mental health or like words to describe the trauma that they went through. And so I think that it just gets sort of passed down to each generation a little bit. And so my grandmother's pain is still part of my pain too.
우리 할머니들이 때문에 우리도 너무 힘이 세. 할머니들이, 할아버지들이 생각할 때 너무 감동이 많아요. You know, our 할머니 and 할아버지, like, they struggled before, what they sacrificed for us, so we should sacrifice for them.
마찬가지야. 우리도 똑같아. 생각하는 게 똑같아. 사랑한다.
I like to invest everything for the kid. 아주 훌륭한 사람. Not the smart. Obedient, great person을 만들려고 그런 거야.
all human has a basic instinct, hunger, like to eat. So it's great to help somebody. So now somebody needs a little food. If we could help him some little food, it's a great thing, That's your duty as a chef.
I know our parents had a hard time sometimes expressing because of the language barrier, but the one thing that they could definitely express freely was food, and that was the way of showing their love.
At the time, she bought just a piece of meat. 그러면 할머니 says, I don't like to eat meat. You go ahead and eat. Even I was 60 years old man. Did you eat breakfast? Did you eat? So mom understand that she's trying to feed you, not only you, your sister. I think mom is the best. So she was inherited from her parents, and then now you inherited from mom. So you try to feed your kid. Those people, elderly, become kids. Like when you get 80 years old, 90 years old, they shouldn't be hungry. They should be eating where, so many harmonies lonely. Just sometimes just holding hand without talking, giving them comfort by cooking for them.
You know, food is math, science, art. It's all wrapped into one. It's all the humanities all in one. If you're a culture that cares about food and appreciates good food, it says a lot about what you value, right? It defines that culture. Nobody should be alone. Nobody should feel alone or diminished or that their voice doesn't matter. Hopefully when we become elders, our next generation will take care of us too. You know, it's full circle and we have to pay it forward. My success is what I leave behind, the legacy I leave behind for the future generation and my children. I hope that we can live happier as a community and be more integrated and more thoughtful of the people that we don't see. And that includes mothers and elders and children. You know, these are people that don't necessarily can say, I need help. They're kind of invisible. You have a strong society when you work from the most impacted and out.
You know, work together. It's nobody can work alone. Work together, helping each other. Harmony was very proud of you. I know you are one of the best chefs you real world, but you have to keep learn. You open mind, keep learn. Then I will be proud of you. And that's all, you know.
Hanul Family Alliance is a very important organization in our community, and it will always be a very important organization in our Korean American community.
Good evening, my name is Jerry Kim and I am a member of the Board of Directors at Hanul Family Alliance, and I have the distinct honor of introducing you to a very special guest we have tonight. Not only is she a special guest, but she's also somebody who I've had the pleasure of knowing for the better part of about 20 years. You know, to some, she's known as the James Beard Award-winning restaurateur who, with her husband Johnny Clark, opened the Michelin star-rated restaurant Parachute and its neighboring restaurant Wherewithal. To others, especially among the Korean community, she's known as that Korean girl who competed in the hit TV series on Bravo, Top Chef, and really went toe-to-toe against some fierce competition. To still others, she's known as the chef who is able to infuse her cultural identity and her background into everything that she cooks, whether it's simple comfort food or a new take on a traditional Korean dish, or even something as simple as bread. Her cooking really speaks for itself. More recently, she's become known as a community activist. She's a name and a face who supports many different causes. One such cause being Do Something, which is an anti-racist campaign to support the Asian American Pacific Islanders and those who were affected by the recent events. Truly, when she is passionate, she is very passionate and she puts her all into it. To me, she's just somebody who I went to church with many years ago. I grew up knowing her, her family, my family, we were friends for many years. In youth group, she was that one member who would come up to you when you walked in and she would ask you how you were doing. And when she asked, she was genuine in her questions. She really wanted to know how you were doing, and you almost felt bad when you said fine. You knew you knew she wanted to know more, or you felt like she really wanted to know more about what was going on, and you felt open talking to her. Another thing that I remember her fondly for is her enthusiasm in everything that she did. She gave 100%. There was never any question about her dedication to what she was doing. If she committed, she would be 100%. She gave it her absolute best. And this is a quality that has become a defining characteristic in everything that she does now. Whether it's being a mother or a wife, a business owner, an entrepreneur, award-winning restaurateur, culinary instructor, guest speaker, community activist, and agent for social change. To me, she's my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Chef Beverly Kim.
Hi, my name is Beverly Kim and welcome to the Hanul Family Alliance annual gala event. I'm super excited to cook this lobster sundubu with you. And just a little bit about sundubu. It's one of those comfort foods every Korean family loves to eat. It's the texture. Usually it's done with shellfish. And for me to make it a little bit more fancy today and a little more special, we're using lobster. After you had roasted your heads in the oven for about 15 minutes at 400 degrees, we're gonna start our stock, which is the base of this dish, like developing a lot of flavor into the soup broth. All right, so I have a pot here and I am putting it on medium to medium-high heat just to kind of get it going, but not smoking hot. We're gonna use sesame oil. You should have this in your container. It's a mixture of sesame oil and canola oil. Just to give it a little bit of flavor and aroma. Koreans love sesame oil. And then I'm gonna throw in my aromatics. So in my aromatics kits, we have ginger, garlic, onions, which give it kind of like that base Korean flavor. I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit, it's a little bit high. And I also have carrots, which add a little bit of sweetness, and so I would call this sort of like your base of your stock. So you kind of have to be a little bit patient, keep stirring it now and then so it doesn't burn. You don't want it to really burn. You want it just to have a nice kind of golden color around the edges, and also kind of like soften your onions and they'll start to turn translucent. So all that like depth of flavor is from the basis of your stock broth. And this is a little bit different than a typical Korean stock because typical Korean stock is a little bit lighter, but the sundubu broth is kind of a little deeper. So that's kind of what I'm demonstrating here. While this is sauteing, I'm going to explain a little bit about the kombu stock. So this is kelp that's been soaked in at least like an hour, or you could do this up to 3 hours. But we already soaked it for you for sake of time. We threw also a dry shiitake mushroom in there, and that's going to develop like that umami flavor. So a lot of Korean dishes have umami, which is that deep savory flavor. But it's light at the same time. And also a little bit kind of stemming from the kind of classical French technique, we're gonna deglaze these aromatics with part white wine and sake. So it'll have a little bit more depth to it when you add the wine flavor. In the meantime, what we've prepped for you as well that is gonna go into your stock is some anchovies, dried Korean anchovies, which we call myeolchi. And this also builds off that deep umami flavor. We take the heads and the guts out just to take a little bit of that bitterness off, and it's a little more refined, less fishy flavor. And there's also some whole chilies and some whole scallions. So after your vegetables are sauteed and there's a little caramel, you're gonna add your spice mix, which is gochugaru, both fine and coarse, and gochujang. And you're gonna try to saute that to bring out the oils of the chili flake. So I'm going to now add my wine and sake. Now you can kind of bring up to a medium-high heat, because what you're trying to do is evaporate the alcohol, but leave the essence of the wine and the sake in there, which is gonna make a nice base for your stock. So give it a few more minutes to deglaze. If you add your stock in now, it's going to have a little bit of like an overly acrid taste, which comes from not evaporating the alcohol out. So you need to be patient with the process. Yeah, a lot about cooking is just being patient. Like, it's not hard, it's just being patient. So you can see that it's still got a ways to go, so be a little patient. Because this is like literally just like building the flavor. So right now I'm smelling a mix of onion and garlic flavors, some vegetal flavors in the air, like the allium, that kind of caramelized sweetness of the garlic, and then the wine evaporating into the air. I can smell that coming together. This is when you're supposed to be drinking wine at the same time as cooking. Anticipating, you know, you pour in a little wine there and you drink a little wine here. Makes it really more fun. All right, so you see that beautiful like reduction, it's getting a little thicker. So now I'm going to add my kombu water with the shiitake mushroom. So I would say this has been about like 10 minutes into, like, you've sweated the vegetables, you've reduced, you added the gochugaru and gave it a stir for a few more minutes. When you add the gochugaru, I definitely wouldn't leave because it will burn. So I would just keep stirring it until you can sort of like smell some of the roastedness of it. You don't want to burn it. And you can also see that it's starting to caramelize a little bit and get darker. And then we reduced the wine, and that took a few more minutes to reduce the wine, and it's probably been about 10 minutes. And so now I add the stock, and you can see it, like the color too, it's kind of red, and some of that oil with the chili flake will rise to the top. And one of my favorite things is seeing that little layer of chili oil on the top of the sundubu is kind of like very delicious. It makes my mouth water. So you'll see that like it'll kind of bring it all together and rise to the top, and then it'll simmer and marry all those flavors, and all those molecules are kind of marrying in a sense, and to give that really good base of the broth. Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. Don't forget this. Now you want to add your anchovies and scallions and chili, and also most importantly, you're going to add the roasted lobster head. So this is going to give that lobster broth flavor. And then bring it to a boil, and then to a simmer. You don't want it to boil constantly, but you do want to first get it to a boil to get it hot enough where it's extracting as much flavor as possible. And then we're gonna let it simmer for about an hour on medium-low heat to an hour and a half. All right, so after about an hour to an hour and a half of slow simmering, your stock will look more reduced and kind of slightly thicker, but you don't want it to be dry. I kind of smashed the lobster heads around a little bit just to get some of that flavor in, and then just kind of strain it through a fine chinois, we call it, or fine strainer. And then just gently push all that flavor out. So you should get about at least 2 cups of liquid. Okay, and then just to give it some more flavor and depth, because there's really no salinity right now, we're gonna put the fish sauce and this white soy sauce, which gives it more of a deeper flavor, the je ne sais quoi. And then when you're ready to serve, Koreans use like a nice ceramic pot, or in this case I'm using this really cool iron pot, but something like a smaller pot if you don't have a Korean dukbaegi, something that you're gonna go from heating it up to serving. So we're gonna eat directly out of this bowl. I'm gonna put the stock in this pot about cups worth, you know. Oh, it's already coming to a boil. Wow. This is very fast. So let's bring this down a little bit. We're gonna throw in this. This is sundubu. It's a very soft tofu. This is ready when you're ready to serve, basically. I'm gonna put this. It's almost like an egg custardy texture. And now we're gonna throw in the meat. I'm leaving some of the nicer pieces for the presentation. Throw in your mushrooms, chilies. And let it come to a full boil. When you're ready to serve, you can taste your broth. It shouldn't be salty. It should be like just nicely seasoned before you add everything. If it's too salty, then you can add a little bit more, maybe a touch of water or something like that. Or if it's not salty enough, add a little bit of salt. And then, so I'm going to put this. When you see that like come up to a nice boil, you're almost ready to serve. And I have shaved fennel that we shaved really thin on a mandolin, and we put it in a little cold water for a little bit so it gets nice and bouncy. And then I'm just gonna throw that on top right before you serve with the fennel fronds. And, and then some of that fennel pollen on top. So the fennel pollen on top gives it a nice, just aniseed note to it. There you go. And we serve this with the rice and panchan. Very rarely are you just eating one dish in a Korean household. You usually have some kind of kimchi or pickle or like marinated vegetable. So we're gonna serve you 2 panchan on the side, so eat that with it to have the complete Korean experience. Thank you all for joining us for this amazing celebration, celebrating our Korean American community, the people in our community who need your support the most, our elders, and respecting our backgrounds and our stories. This is really close to my heart, knowing that I started my journey of cooking Korean food at Hanul and now full circle serving the elders who are homebound and don't have access right now. It means so much to me. Please continue to support Hanul Family Alliance through donations or volunteering, checking in with the elders, even giving them a phone call, as well as please support my initiative, The Abundant Setting. You can follow us at abundantsetting.org. Our mission is to support working mothers to advance in the culinary industry and have a sustainable career, knowing that there's only 6% top chefs in this industry who are women. And it has a lot to do with no support systems when we reach motherhood. Please don't forget to support my restaurants, Wherewithal and Parachute. Wherewithal is an ingredient-based restaurant. There's no boundaries. We will be dining in very soon, so please stay tuned. Our website is wherewithalshy.com, and Parachute at parachuterestaurant.com. We are still not ready to open for dine-in yet, but please stay tuned. We've been open since 2014, and we continue to be serving our communities for a very long time. So thank you so much for supporting the people who really need the most help. Let's remember our elders and support our community. I feel really grateful to have grown up as a Korean American, especially my mom introducing me very young to a palate that was really open to many different things. Because I grew up with the American food, but I also grew up with Korean food, which is so different. And so our cuisine here at Wherewithal is ingredient based, so there is no like border, but heavily influenced by that idea that palate opening, kind of texture challenging, all those things that like I grew up as a Korean, it applies here too, you know, but it doesn't have to just be Korean. The kind of feelings and
emotions that I get when I think of Korean food. I think of obviously my mother and her hard work, and I feel like Korean food takes a lot of handwork, and her hands were all swollen and kind of hard, calloused from doing a lot of dishes. And so when I think of Korean food, I know that it takes a lot of work and a lot of love. It makes me feel emotional and proud of having something that for so long I was ashamed of, being different, but now I celebrate being different. Like, I think it's so awesome that I have a unique perspective on food and my heritage, and it comes from a rich history. I think my passion comes from the two sides. My mom's a great cook, and she was always in the kitchen singing and enjoying cooking, and she was never resentful to cook for us. Like, it was her purpose. And then my dad he loves to eat, and I think I've inherited those genes too, and I love to eat. So I love to eat and I love to cook. So together, I'm like in the perfect career where a day doesn't feel like work. It's a fulfillment of purpose. So we're in the downstairs prep kitchen. We actually had to dig down the floor this much in order to create this prep kitchen, so you can see where the floor originally was. A lot of the prep work that we do for Hanul is done here. It was a huge honor for us to cook for Hanul. Elders are susceptible to loneliness, especially during this time. We can't have contact, we can't touch. We're afraid to make them sick. At the same time, they don't have the ability to be active and to go grocery shopping and do the things that they normally love to do. And so the combination of loneliness and inactivity, it's very hard and stressful right now for our senior citizens. So this is a community that we need to support, and I feel is very important to support throughout COVID. All right, so this is Parachute, my first restaurant. We opened in 2014, May, and we pretty much built half of this ourselves. We had a very, very small budget. It was our dream restaurant. It was the Korean American restaurant me and my husband always wanted to open. And it's basically an expression of our combined Korean American experiences. So when I came back from Korea when I was 26, I think, and I decided to change my focus of my career to more Korean and Asian style cuisine. And at the time, there wasn't a Korean upscale restaurant to work at. There were only mom and pop restaurants, and they're very secretive, like, and very exclusive in a way. So while I was working at Red Light, which was a Pan-Asian restaurant, I supplemented that with working at Hanul because I knew that my grandmother went there to get low-cost meals, like $3 a meal kind of thing, but it was very delicious and home style, and I wanted to learn more about that. So I helped volunteer and cook while I was a sous chef at Red Light. You know, a lot of ways Top Chef did change my life because it's more the long-term game where because more people knew about me, there was opportunity available. So I thought it helped me gain the confidence to open my own restaurant, knowing that I got so far on Top Chef. And then ultimately I gained confidence from my parents. Like, they finally acknowledged that I would be okay in this industry. Like, they thought that, okay, now Beverly's okay, because they were worried about me the whole way through. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, and so it pushed me. I got to know myself better, which I thought was really a life-changing experience. You know, in light of everything that's happened with COVID, we've seen all the disparities, and it's really hard to just move on to the new normal without addressing these huge inequities that we see. So I feel like one of my lifelong journey goals is to make sure that I inspire and advocate for more equity. We talk about equality, but like, in order for us to be equal, we have to talk about equity, and it takes some people more help to get to where other people it's very easy to get to. So we have to acknowledge those like systemic issues. And then, you know, I just want to have a quality life with my family, honestly. That brings me a lot of happiness, and I couldn't be successful without my family. My thoughts create my actions, and my actions can change the world. So I really just try to think big for our community, and my dream is to really help all those things that I care about grow and do better and see more equity. Just want to thank everybody who helped put this production together. We've really worked a lot, really hard for this, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity to share my story. I'm so grateful for Hanul, who not only supports me and is a huge cheerleader for me, but is doing so much good work for the community. And it just you're changing the world by your kindness, and kindness matters. And everyone here at this event, we are all connected, we are all one. You and me, we are one. That's it. Yeah. And it's a wrap.
Chef Beverly, I know I speak for all of us here at Hanul when I say from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. You inspire us, and we are so proud and honored to partner with you. We thank you for generously providing over 2,000 free meals to supplement Hanul's lunch program and delivery services over the pandemic. I am Irene Jisun-son, Executive Director of Hanul Family Alliance. Now it's time for our fourth raffle drawing. A chic and durable stainless steel 900-watt microwave donated by Magic Chef. And the winner is, drum roll please. Okay, Kate Donaldson, congratulations, Kate. Thank you. And thanks to all of our in-kind supporters and donations for tonight's program. As we are nearing the close of our first ever virtual gala tonight, I would like to thank those who supported Hanul's vision and mission, even in the pandemic's most critical hours. To our funding organizations, legislators, community partners, and donors who consistently kept the faith and supported us throughout this most unprecedented year, we thank you. I'd like to give a big shout out to our community partner sponsors who are amazing organizations. Thank you for your leadership and all you do in the community. And special thanks to our board of directors and our advisory board of directors for guiding me and supporting me and always helping me to be the leader that I am today, as well as who I aspire to continue evolving into. Finally, my deepest thanks to the staff and volunteers who have been the anchors of our organization. You are Hanul's heroes, putting our clients' safety and well-being before your own to provide the essential services even at the height of the pandemic, civil unrest, and an unprecedented rise in anti-Asian hatred and rhetoric throughout our nation. Collectively, you are Hanul's heart and soul. 152 home care aides, 115 volunteers, and 34 staff members stood faithfully by our clients. Thank you for providing in-home assistance, meal services, public benefit assistance, mental health counseling, citizenship assistance, COVID vaccination, and connecting with your clients virtually through classes and support groups. In Korea, May is known as Family Month, and May 8th is celebrated as Parents' Day. In keeping with our Korean heritage and culture, respecting and honoring our parents, grandparents, and older adults has always been a virtue in the Hanul family. We thank our parents and grandparents for all they have done and sacrifices that they have made for us. Have you recently contacted your parents, grandparents, or an older adults that you care about? If you haven't, please pick up your phone after the event tonight and ask them, did you eat? 식사하셨어요? And let them know you love them and that they are not alone. 지금 저희와 함께 행사 보고 계시는 어르신들 계신 줄 압니다. 이 어려운 기간 동안 건강하게 잘 견뎌내어 주셔서 너무 감사합니다. 한울이 여러분들 곁에 함께 있다는 사실 늘 기억해 주시고 혼자가 아니라는 것 잊지 말아 주세요. 그리고 우리 부모님의 은혜에 늘 감사드리고 사랑합니다. At this time, I'd like to introduce our very last story piece about one of our volunteers, Nate Rager. Since October of last year, he's been helping our Chicago office by packaging, delivering meals to homebound seniors in the city. His dedication, hard work, and cheerful personality has been an inspiration to everyone he's met. We're honored to have Nate as our volunteer. Here is Nate's story.
My name's Nathan. I've lived here in Chicago for the last 8 years. My wife Esther and I just recently had a child. He's about to turn 1, and we both met in the hospitality industry, and we've worked in that our whole adult life or adult careers. I found out about Hanul through Beverly Kim's Instagram page. We saw the work that she was doing with Hanul, and just thought it'd be a great place to be able to volunteer and give back to the community. Hanul is giving back to a community that is, especially during COVID times, one of the more vulnerable communities, and to be able to put efforts and time into making sure that that community is taken care of right now is very, very important to me. After hearing about the opportunity and realizing that I had a car, it was honestly a no-brainer. You know, it was like no questions asked. I have the ability and really wanted to do it. Basically, my day is just coming in and I help get all of the food and packaging ready for getting into the bags, and then we pack all of the food together as a team and we pack it into our cars and bring it out to all the customers. When we deliver the meals, we're always met with such a big, grateful smile, and to know that we're providing such an essential need to this community really warms my heart, because I know that that is somebody's harmony and haramuji that they really appreciate, knowing that they're well taken care of, and that brings a lot of joy to me. I wouldn't say I'm as surprised as I am just really appreciative and grateful of the sincerely kind and generous staff that all work here and volunteer here at Hanul. They are just amazingly dedicated. They make amazing food and really show that they care about the mission of making sure that community is still a big part of these people's lives, and that means a lot to me. Awesome to see that there's so much good out there, and I'm really grateful to be a part of it.
Wow, what an amazing video, and what an amazing evening this has been so far. And we are so thankful for everyone's generous support. I hope you enjoyed seeing a glimpse of the hard work and dedication of Hanul's staff and volunteers who continued throughout the pandemic to provide food, services, and home care to those in need. It is this heart of service that has compelled and driven Hanul to continue to serve the community for the past 34 years, and Hanul is not and will not stop now. But we can't do this without your help and support, so we are asking for you to dig a little deeper and donate by texting "Did You Eat" to 44321 or going to the link on screen and in the chat now. Every dollar helps us to provide even more meals, home care, boxed food, social interactions, and so much more. And don't forget the gift cards and the beautiful earring and bracelet set donated by CD Peacock. You still have time to enter the raffle, so donate now. we wanted to thank some of you that have donated throughout this evening. Big thanks to Michael Olson, Julia Lee, John Cochran, Derry Mien, Lee Ann Kim, Marta Pereira, Andrew Chang, Edward Lim, Elizabeth Smith, Mary Munez, and Benjamin Weiss. Thank you guys and all the other people that have donated throughout the evening. During these difficult times, we also understand that you might not be in a position to contribute financially. Consider volunteering so Hanul can continue to serve more people throughout our community. If you are interested in finding out more about volunteering, please type volunteer in the chat with your email and phone number, and we will contact you soon. You can also email us at volunteer@hanulusa.org. That's HANULUSA.org. We also wanted to give a big thank you to 1903 Collective and Daniel Kwan and his team for helping us out here tonight. We couldn't have done this without them. And now, on to the raffle for the CD Peacock earring and bracelet set. The winner of the earring and bracelet set is Catherine Ward. Congratulations, Catherine, and thank you for your donation. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your evening with us tonight. We hope you enjoyed learning more about our mission and seeing a glimpse of how we continued to serve our community throughout this past year. We also hope you enjoyed the amazing cooking demonstration with the incomparable Chef Beverly Kim. We are so thankful for her for being so willing